2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead.
Paultons Park, you're not safe, mate. I know your games. Hello everyone, welcome back. Yeah, we are indeed back to the old Peshcoaster type of videos, 400-foot RMC type shenanigans, but this time I've actually done sufficient research. And no, it is not from a TikTok comment section. We all know the place, always considered one of the best theme parks in the country, but barely anyone in the community can actually afford fuel to get down there. It's Paultons Park, with rides like Velociraptor, Flight of the Pterosaur, and Storm Chaser, which a lot of people seem to think is one of the best themed areas in the country. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't even under planning permission the last time I went to Paultons. However, it seems that the main draw to this theme park is the genuinely world famous Peppa Pig world. The 2 times I went to this place pre-COVID, I remember spending absolutely ages in here because I was in a party with some kids that were like tiny at the time. And then apart from that, I also remember Cobra, which will be a huge part in this video for extremely unknown reasons, which we haven't known about at all. Speaking of, back an amount of time ago that wasn't too long, the park held an event where we all saw this and got way too excited over an RMC coming to the UK. Where basically they said, okay, we're getting a large Viking area with a roller coaster, and oh shit, it's going upside down. And since then, we've basically just been seeing the development of this huge field over in the back of the park, which basically has had some benches in it since the early 2000s. Up until even more recently, where they've finally started construction on that roller coaster they promised. Yeah, that was genuinely the most detailed description I could have provided. Sums up Southampton, I guess. Which finally leads us to the question, what is actually going on this plot of land? Well, if you're watching this on the exact millisecond I'm posting this, then you'll know in about 20 hours time. And if you're not, then you probably already know, so feel free to laugh at my opinions to come. Now, we've all heard about the new dark ride coming to the park, Ghostly Manor. This ride looks like it's going to be very cool and very themed and stuff. And again, if you're watching this when I post it, it opens in about 16 hours from now. I will be there at the opening, by the way, to experience the ride, so make sure to subscribe to this awesome roller coaster YouTube channel for the vlog and POVs and stuff, which I'll try to get posted before the end of 2025 if you know my upload schedule. Anyway, Paultons are hosting this super secretive, awesome event called the Supervans event, where basically they're going to spill the whole ride and yeah, call it a day, or so they say anyway. But until then, I've uncovered some extremely convincing evidence that basically guarantees what at least the roller coaster is going to be anyway. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really care about the other stuff, but we can always have a cheeky gander. If you don't know how roller coasters work, they basically get fabricated in factories in low taxing countries before getting shipped to the theme park. And there is a specific one of these manufacturing companies called Intamin, which all the geeks have had an eye on recently, specifically because of a load of concrete footers being poured into the ground. Yeah, that basically sums the theme park community up. But I mean, if you understand what you're looking at, then you can compare these footers to ones on other roller coasters built like Intamin, and it kind of makes sense. Also, I just want to give a shout out to Paultons Hoop for these images I'm showing in the background. Now, the reason this basically ensures what the ride is going to be is because of a cheeky little marketing stunt that Intamin pulled a few months ago. That being with the introduction of a brand new roller coaster model called the Family LSM coaster. While this may sound like utter bullshit to the average viewer, it essentially means they've developed a style of ride which appeals to families and features a magnetic launch. Now, the specific style of coaster also includes a backward section and a spike, which the train will basically go backwards up before coming back down and doing a little more swerving. I got to swerve over that corner, whoa! But more recently, on Intamin's website, they've listed that one of these coasters is going to be announced soon worldwide. I mean, where else would it go, Intamin, you bunch of melons? I don't really fancy riding a roller coaster on Mercury, mate. But the fact they've acknowledged there is one of these being constructed somewhere only a few days before the announcement of this coaster is kind of convenient. Now, you might be saying, but geezer, this could be going literally anywhere. And I mean, yeah, it says worldwide, but Intamin have listed it as a family model, and as I'm sure many of you may know, Paultons like to market themselves as a family theme park. Because I mean, you're not going to slap an Intamin Giga in the middle of Peppa Pig world, you know what I'm saying? The whole reason all us roller coaster people got excited in the first place is because this animation goes upside down, and guess what? This model is able to go upside down. And also, I mean, this plot of land they're building on is very big, like a good fifth of the park, and that place is quite big. Another reason I think that's what they're up to is because it is a very marketable coaster for the British theme park market. You've got your UK's first magnetic high-speed switch track multi-pass launch reaching speeds of at least 4.2 miles an hour. That one's a given for sure. But also, just for Paultons themselves, because they don't have a launch coaster yet, and family coasters can be awesome sometimes. Then finally, Paultons does not get that many people riding the larger coasters. I mean, on a day with 72% capacity, the longest queue for Cobra was 20 minutes. And this ride model won't really be a people eater because of that switch track, you know, it just takes ages. And all those technical things that come along with that setup, which I will not be going into right now. It's just fine because of the low queues. The main reason I think it's going to be that family launch coaster based on what they've built so far though, is this pad right next to the path. Looks like the perfect size for a switch track. Then like the spike going through Cobra's first helix, who knows, man. But I mean, look at Gold Rush at Drayton Manor, for example. A very similar but probably slightly less tame version of this newer model, but built by the same company. But Gold Rush is what's known as a lift and launch coaster, which is a style of coaster that was revealed by the very same people a similar time span before the ride was announced. So I personally think we're just going to be seeing a repeat of this, but this time in the south rather than the Midlands. And I know a lot of people have said that this pad thing is going to be the station, but it just looks tiny. And in my expert analysis, I think it will be further over this back part of the area, so there's enough room for like a queue and a plaza and all that. Then the main element is going to be next to this path. Looking away from whatever that roller coaster is going to be for a second though, Paultons have said that Cobra, the other roller coaster in that area that's already been there for a good 20 odd years, and also a flat ride or two, are being closed on September until April or May 2026, I think it said, which sounds about right for the eventual opening for the new area. For Cobra, I think they'll just go down the route of painting it orange and slapping a new train and station theming on it, which is perfectly valid. And that Zamperla flat ride is already called Magma and Orange, so surely that's perfect. Although I think they might just freshen it up a bit. Then on the other side of that path, we've seen columns go up for like a huge building. Now realistically, this could be a nice restaurant with like some outdoor seating and stuff next to the path. Imagine if it was an indoor play area, or like a huge castle theming piece that's completely useless and a huge waste of money, but looks awesome because Paultons theming. And they also have a toilet block somewhere else in the area, so I think they're sorted on that. But just overall, I also see the LSM family coaster being a realistic choice for Paultons, whether they end up receiving that to be announced coaster or a different edition. In terms of the layout though, I don't see it being too long. Whilst the plot of land they've got is quite big in comparison to the rest of the park, most of the major coasters at Paultons seem to be quite short but very high quality. The one in that video from Intamin has more than one section of launch track, but I think if Paultons gets this, they might just shorten it to one piece with the spike and stuff. Then again, we don't really know the full scale of the area yet. They could be waiting to do this project in sort of phases. Maybe after September when they close Cobra, they could be waiting to shut off a good portion of that area to uncover more construction and that sort of thing. I mean, this model alone, being able to go upside down and giving some decent floater airtime with a height restriction of 100 centimeters surely just makes it perfect. And depending on how they market it, I think they could draw in a good new market. I don't know what you call it. And I'm sure they'll execute the ride amazingly with all the theming that they do at the theme park. But whatever happens, we'll just have to wait 20 more hours, okay. But subscribe to my YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss tomorrow's happenings at Paultons, and make sure to drop a like if you agree with me, and comment your opinions if you didn't, or if you did. I don't really discriminate. Thanks for watching another cinematic Peshcoaster masterpiece, and goodbye.
I am always 2 steps ahead.
I've been coming up hot for a minute. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. I drop the top when I'm in it. Everybody know the drop when I'm in it. Yeah, I flow so good. Everybody know I'm you know when the click through. Try to send this box to be a so big fun.
Also, if I'm right about the coaster model, I'll remake it No Limits.